So here's the bottom line. Making money is hard and saving money seems even more challenging. But if you're ready to start making some changes in your life to put more money in your bank account so that it can grow, then you've come to the right place. My name is Alex, and in this video, we're going to be covering the 9 tips on how you can save money on a low income without making unrealistic sacrifices. With that said, let's jump right into it. The very first step to saving money, regardless of how much money you make, is to review your monthly spending. This is the very first step. What cannot be measured cannot be improved, and reviewing your monthly spending is a great way to see where you can start saving money and see where your money is even going. Look at how much you're spending on groceries, transportation, housing, entertainment, and hobbies, and if you can cut back on some of those expenses, that is literally extra cash that could go directly into your savings. Now you might be wondering, how can I start tracking my monthly spending? The easiest way to do this is by looking at your monthly bank statements. Lean into it and don't be afraid to look at it. If you want to use third-party apps, few free services that can do this for you are services like Mint.com or Truebill. These are all ways that you can gain visibility into your spending so that you know where you can make adjustments. How you spend money is your worst enemy, and you need to figure out how to defeat it. So tip number 2 is to cut back on unnecessary expenses. For example, if you can reduce your grocery bill by $40 per month and your cell phone bill by $20, that's an extra $720 saved in the year, and it doesn't have to stop there. Like, how much are you spending on your car insurance? Is there room to get a better rate by switching to a different service? What about eating out or monthly subscriptions for stuff that you barely even use anymore? Every little thing adds up. Now you might be wondering, how can I start making these changes? My answer is simple. Start small and cut back slowly. What would be a small win for you? And I would start there. But by taking a step back and evaluating your spending, you can start making small changes that will have a big impact on your bottom line when you look back into it in the future. Tip number 3, find cheaper ways to do the things that you need and want. Yes, I agree, some things are non-negotiable and quality comes at a price, but you'd be surprised by how many things you can actually replace with cheaper alternatives without sacrificing that much. For instance, I used to go to a high-end gym because it was conveniently located from my job. So I paid a premium for that convenience, but guess what? That membership costed me $230 a month. At the beginning of last year, I found a gym closer to where I live, and now I'm paying $1,000 a month. It's awesome. Nah, I'm joking. I'm paying $49 a month, and from a monthly perspective, that is $181 in savings a month and $2,172 in savings a year. And that's just by cutting down one of the many expenses that I have. Other ideas are finding savings in simple purchases like laundry detergent, making the switch from brand name to generic every single time I buy detergent, and that amount adds up over time. Or maybe you're eating out every meal at restaurants. Would it be too big of a sacrifice to pack lunch or make food at home? Or is everything that you buy brand name to the point where you're buying brand name socks and underwear and paying a 200% markup on them? Try looking for affordable alternatives to those, because it just might save you some money. The point is, there are so many different ways to save money without making big sacrifices. I recommend spending a Sunday afternoon figuring out what some of those changes would look like for you and find adjustments that you're comfortable making and have fun with it. Now let's talk about the next tip, which is tip number 4, lower your housing cost. Look, there's no escaping it. One of your most significant expenses will always be your housing cost. So what can we do? Let's talk about it. Everyone's situation will be different, so I'm just gonna share a handful of thoughts to get your ideas flowing. The first is to live rent-free by moving in with your family for a few years. If you can do that, you'll definitely save money, and if that's not an option, I totally get it. Second is you can get roommates or live in a smaller but cheaper apartment that you can afford in a different apartment complex in your town or neighboring city. If you work a remote job and don't mind switching it up, maybe switching your location can work for you. It might be a good idea to move to a city that's a lot less expensive across the board, and you'll benefit from it by lowering your overall cost of living. If you can lower your housing costs, this is a huge category, so you'll be able to save more if you can figure out how you can lower this expense somehow. Tip number 5 is to automate your finances. One of the best ways to ensure you're always saving money is by automating how you're actually managing your finances. This means setting up your bank account so that a certain amount of money is automatically transferred from your checking account to your savings account each month. This can be a great way to make sure you're always saving money without having to think about it. By setting this up, you are forcing yourself to save an amount that you're comfortable saving every single paycheck. There are so many different online tools that can help you do this, and all you need is your bank account and routing number. Services like Charles Schwab, Fidelity, or Ally Bank offer this service for free, and all you need to do is set it up and choose how much money you want transferred each month. This also applies to 401k contributions. If you can automatically set aside money for your 401k, again, this takes the effort out of saving money every pay period and makes it easy for you to reach your financial goals. Talk to your employer about how you can set up a direct deposit for your 401k contributions. Tip number 7, you gotta pay off those high interest loans. So if you racked up a hefty credit card balance or have a ton of debt, I highly recommend prioritizing clearing that balance first ahead of saving. The reason why is because credit card services are high interest in nature, and that makes it much more challenging for you to save. So clear that balance first so that your hard-earned income doesn't go toward paying interest on borrowed money. High interest debt can take the form of things like personal loans or car loans. The average person with credit card debt pays more than $2,000 in interest yearly, and that's a lot of money that could go towards savings for retirement or building your emergency fund. Truthfully, one of the most effective ways to clear debt is by getting a higher paying job to be able to do so. Which leads me to my next tip, get a higher paying job. Obviously, this is a lot easier said than done, but the easiest way to save more money is to make more money. And that gives you more lifestyle flexibility and overall margin. It allows you to choose how you want to save and by how much. This topic can easily be its own video, but to stay on track with this one, I wanted to bring it up because it's important to call out. So if you can get a raise or work in a field or a company that can pay you more, definitely look into it. Assuming that isn't an option right now, one thing you can always do is look into side gigs. Which leads me to tip number 8, find side gigs that you enjoy. When it comes to making extra money, you can choose from plenty of gigs. One great way to make extra money is by doing something you already enjoy. This makes it easier for you to put in the extra time and effort because you're not doing it just to make extra money. For example, if you love spending time outdoors, you could consider becoming a dog walker or a pet sitter. This is a great way to make some extra money, and you get to spend time with animals, which is a bonus. Now, if you're more into creative activities, there's plenty of side gigs that allow you to do this. You can start freelancing or offer your services as a consultant. These are all great ways to make extra money while doing something that you already love. And if you don't have a service that you can sell today, I'd look into ways to acquire skills that you can acquire today so that you can build a business or a service that you can later sell to clients in the future. Other flexible side gigs are driving for Uber or Lyft, food delivery, selling physical goods. Everyone can use some extra cash, so give it a try. What do you have to lose? The bottom line is that finding a side gig you enjoy can be a great way to make extra money while doing something that you love. And who knows, it may even turn into a full-time job one day. Now my last tip, tip number 9. Stay disciplined and patient with your savings goals. Saving money takes time and effort, as you can probably tell from the details of this video. But if you stay disciplined and patient, you can reach your financial goals in the long term. As I mentioned earlier, start with minor changes, pick up the small wins and celebrate them. It can be easy to get discouraged if you aren't seeing results right away when saving money, but it's important to remember that small changes can significantly impact over time. Pat yourself on the back for every penny that you manage to save and be proud of your progress. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and feel free to share your favorite tip in the comment section below. In the meantime, if you haven't already, check out the next video on the 7 essential money lessons you never learned in school. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll see you there.